Android 18 and Krillin have a lot of chemistry, bruh. Like, they've been married for a brick now. And they seem happy, you know what I'm saying? But, like, something that I noticed after rewatching the Dragon Ball Z series is that Android 18 be on Krillin's head, mo. Like, mostly because he's broke. Like, she be nagging him about money and stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? Which got me to thinking, what if Android 18 cheated on Krillin? How would Krillin react? Find out today on DH Animations.
Let it breathe. I'm not no rapper, young thugger, bitch, chasing cheese. I want the English. 800 calories in my life.
And before we get started, bruh, I got a bone to pick with y'all. How come the majority of y'all niggas who watch my video aren't even Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Shut. Oh my. How come the majority of y'all niggas that watch my videos aren't even subscribed, bruh? Like, it's one button. It does not take that long for you to press the subscribe button. You watching all the videos and you not subscribing, bruh. Bro, hold up, bruh. Give me a second. I'm not gonna keep shut the fuck up. Our story starts out with Android 18 and Krillin at the red table, just like Will Smith and Jada Smith when she cheated on him. And Krillin's like, we came to this red table on National Capsule Corp TV for one reason. And he looks at 18 and he's like, 18? Did you sleep with Mr. Popo? And Android 18 is like, well, I wouldn't call it sleeping with him. I would just call it like we were in entanglement. We were entangled with each other. You know what I'm saying? And Krillin just looks at her for a second and he just thinks, he's like, you bitch! And he just starts attacking Android 18 and everybody has to hold Krillin back. And as we know, Krillin is one of the weaker Dragon Ball characters, so even after all that charging and barking and punching and farting that he did at Android 18, in the end, she still beat the goofy out of him. And you know what I'm saying? Because he tried to put his hands on his wife, he's actually charged with domestic abuse, and he lost custody to Mirren, and he lost his police job, and Android 18 divorced him. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, because Krillin knows like Bulma and stuff, and like Mr. Satan, Krillin didn't go to jail, but like Krillin, he's still like broke, and like, you know what I'm saying? He's still broken up, and time passes, and Krillin is fresh out of money, no job, no woman, no kids, no nothing. And Bulma was nice enough to let Krillin stay at her place until he could get back on his feet, but it's been like a whole 2 months, bruh. Like, Krillin, like, he's depressed, he's starting to get like a little bit of pudge in his stomach, bruh. He don't be taking showers, he got Cheeto crumbs and doo-doo stains under his nails and his drawers and stuff. Like, he's just a bum. And that's when Vegeta comes off the cut, and he's like, you, look at you, you're pathetic. You got your woman taken away, and you're not even gonna do nothing about it? Every time confrontation comes your way, you fold. No wonder you got your bitch taken. You're a loser. You're a disgrace. And Krillin just sits there and he just listens. He's like, loser? Disgrace? And he just thinks about what Vegeta said for hours. And later in the night, Krillin finally gets up and he washes his ass. And he brushes his teeth. And he even changes his drawers. It appears that what Vegeta said actually lit a fire in Krillin's heart. Krillin would then walk to the gravity room that Vegeta usually trains in, and he'd open the door and go inside. And Vegeta is like, what do you want, little nigga? Like, what do you want? And Krillin is like, Vegeta, I want you to train me. And Vegeta's like, oh, please. You wouldn't even be able to handle my training. Why don't you go eat some Cheetos or something? And then Krillin is like, I'm serious. How can I prove this? How can I prove that I'm serious? And Vegeta's like, I'll tell you what. If you could land at least one hit on me, I'll agree to train you. But don't expect me to hold back. Last time on DH Animations. Krillin found out that Android 18 cheated on him with Mr. Popo, causing him to lose his cool and attack 18, only to get laid out because, you know, Android 18 is still stronger than Krillin. And now Krillin wants Vegeta to train him, but Vegeta says that he'll only train Krillin if Krillin can land one hit on him. Can Krillin land a hit in on Vegeta? Or will Vegeta just put him on a t-shirt? Find out today on DH Animations.
Let it breathe. I'm not no rapper, young thugger, be chasing cheese. I want the English. 800 castles in my life.
How can I prove that I'm serious? And Vegeta's like, I'll tell you what. If you could land at least one hit on me, I'll agree to train you. But don't expect me to hold back. All my life, I've always slacked on my training. What a fool I've been. I see the truth now. 18. Marin, if I can't even land one hit in on Vegeta, then how the hell am I ever supposed to protect my family? Krillin desperately charges at Vegeta, trying to land at least one blow on him. But Vegeta is in his Super Saiyan Blue evolution state, so it's not exactly easy for Krillin. To Vegeta's surprise, Krillin isn't folding. Like, he's obviously not at Vegeta's level, but he's not folding either. Like, he's farting up, he's farting up there with Vegeta, bruh. Which makes sense because Krillin has always been like a Bojangle finesse type of fight. Krillin lets out a solar flare times 100, blinding the fuck out of Vegeta, and then charging headfirst at Vegeta while he's stunned, headbutting the fuck out of him. They both fall to the floor. And Krillin mutters the words, I am not a disgrace. Alright, Krillin. I'll train you. Vegeta has agreed to train Krillin. And, alright, nah, bro, hold up, bro. This is a little off topic, but let me ask y'all something, right? Say, like, in a hypothetical situation, you were at the gym on the bench press, right? And you were benching, like, and the weight was like a little bit too much for you. So you kind of overstrain yourself and you doo-doo on the bench press. Like, you take a dump on the bench press, right? Like, would you A, leave the poop on the bench press and just run out the gym and never come back? Or B, clean that shit up in front of everyone? Now, personally, I'd pick option A, bruh, because I'm not about to sit there and clean that shit up in front of everybody, bruh. Like, people are going to be pulling out their cameras and recording and stuff, bruh. They don't even got the right equipment in there to clean that stuff up with. Like, they got paper towels and disinfectant spray. So, like, what do y'all want me to do with that? You going to end up smearing the doo-doo all over the bench press even more. You're not going to clean that up. And even if you do somehow clean it up, where are you going to put the poop? Like, where are you going to put the poop, bruh? You going to put that shit in the trash can? No, you got to take that shit and you got to carry that all the way to the locker room or to the bathroom. So you got to go all the way across the gym with shit up in your hands, bruh. Like, all over the paper towels. And niggas going to smell that. They going to be like, ugh, what's that smell? And they might even see the doo-doo and shit. You probably going to get doo-doo like a little bit on your fingers and shit. So no, I'm not cleaning that up, bruh. You're going to be walking past everybody smelling like World War VIII. I'm not cleaning that up, bruh. Y'all got me. Vegeta says that he's going to take Krillin into the hyperbolic time chamber and train him for a year. But Krillin is like, the hyperbolic time chamber? That's on Kami's lookout. And Vegeta's like, so? And Krillin's like, that's where Mr. Popo lives. I'm not trying to go near him right now, bruh. And Vegeta's like, alright, bruh, like, my bad. I guess we could just keep training here then. I didn't know you were a pussy. Alright, let's go to the damn lookout. Vegeta and Krillin go to the lookout, and Mr. Popo comes out the cut, and he starts mean mugging Krillin, bruh. And Krillin is like, "Oh hey there, Mr. Popo. I almost didn't notice you, considering you don't have your black cock in my wife's mouth." And Mr. Popo is like, "Oh hey there, Krillin. I almost didn't recognize you, considering you don't have Cheeto crumbs on your shirt and doo-doo crumbs under your nails. I guess you finally decided to wash your ass, huh?" Krillin gets mad and tries to attack Mr. Popo, but Mr. Popo swiftly ducks it and dodges Krillin's attack. And then he's about to follow up with his own punch, but Vegeta steps in and blocks it. And Vegeta's like, "I forbid the two of you to fight right now. Give Krillin and I both one day in that time chamber, and when we come out, Krillin will face you himself. Deal?" And Mr. Popo's like, "Okay, deal. Oh, and don't worry, Krillin. I'll be sure to keep your wife, oh wait, no. I mean ex-wife, company. Long dick style." Says Mr. Popo as Krillin and Vegeta head into the time chamber. When they arrive in the time chamber, Vegeta asks Krillin, "Has Mr. Popo always been that strong?" And Krillin's like, "Huh? What are you talking about? What do you mean?" And Vegeta just looks at his hand, the hand that he used to block Mr. Popo's punch. And he's like, "Never mind." Let's get down to business to defeat a team. A bot that's a major thought. She probably smashed the team. You're the saddest runt I've ever met, but you can bet before we're through, Baldy, I'll make a man out of
Hey,
you.
nah, bro. I'm sorry for cutting off the video like this, but who the fuck told you could sing?
Bruh, like I thought you put this in the
Hey,
script.
shut the fuck up, bro. Who the fuck told you could sing, bro?
Alright, bro.
Ain't nobody tell you to get on here and start singing. We came to listen to your story time. Got me all out of breath and shit. I gotta listen to y'all sorry ass singing, bruh. He probably thought we was gonna gas him in the comments like, "Hey, yo, DH can sing." No, bruh. You fucking suck. Who told you could sing? Cut that shit out right now before I snatch that fucking microphone from y'all hand.
Alright.
Get back to the story time.
You got it, bro. But yeah, as I was saying, bro. As I was saying, bro. You know what? Never mind, bro. Moss had ruined the video, bro. I don't even want to finish it right now, bro. Last time on DH Animations, Vegeta said that if Krillin could land at least one hit on him, he'd agree to train him. And of course, ooh, excuse me. But yeah, of course, Krillin landed a hit in on Vegeta and then some. So Vegeta took Krillin to Kami's lookout to train in the hyperbolic time chamber, only to get antagonized by Mr. Popo, you know, the man who slept with Krillin's wife. Now Krillin will face Mr. Popo after he's finished training in the hyperbolic time chamber. Will Krillin be able to defeat Mr. Popo? Find out today on What If Android 18 Cheated on Krillin, Part 3.
Like a fork on it. Let it breathe. I'm not no rapper, young thugger, be tasting cheese. I want the English. 800 calories a mile.
Before we get started, bruh, I need y'all to smack that like button right now and watch the video all the way to the end, because that helps push through YouTube's algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Y'all did a great job getting the last vid to 250 likes, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, Mr. Popo is chilling outside of the hyperbolic time chamber, waiting for Vegeta and Krillin to head out. That's when the door opens, and we see Vegeta and Krillin walking out of the time chamber. And as y'all can see, Krillin is ready for war. You know what I'm saying? Like, Krillin got the beard now. He not fat no more. hold up. All right, hold up, y'all. I really have to use the bathroom. I'm gonna be right back. Alright, I'm back. As I was saying, Krillin instantly calls out to Mr. Popo, and he's like, Mr. Popo, get your black ass up. I'm ready to fight you now. And that's when Mr. Popo gets up, and he looks at Krillin, and he's like, oh, look at you. You've been working hard, haven't you? Krillin punches Mr. Popo in the jaw, sending him flying before he could even finish his sentence, then teleporting behind him and slamming his hands into Popo's jiggly black skull. Then Krillin lands knee first on Popo's fat, jiggly stomach, then grabbing Mr. Popo, sending him flying across Kami's lookout. Not only surprising Dende, but making Vegeta proud. That's when Krillin pulls both his hands back, charging two massive Destructo Discs in both of his hands. And Dende is like, whoa, when did Krillin get so strong? And Vegeta's like, it seems that year we spent in the hyperbolic time chamber paid off after all. But don't worry, Dende. You haven't seen shit yet, nigga. Right now, Krillin is about to unleash his ultimate move. His ultimate move? Yeah, I showed him how to do it in the hyperbolic time chamber. Destructo! Flash! Mr. Popo gets caught in the large explosion, blowing off a huge chunk of Kami's lookout. And before y'all start chatting in the comment section, yeah bro, this frame right here, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I traced the fuck out of it. Cause if y'all remember in the previous part where Krillin was fighting Vegeta, that's not traced, but I referenced it from the Sasuke versus Orochimaru fight. But this frame right here, I was just like, fuck it, bro. I'm just about to trace this joint. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? If any of y'all have a problem with it, you know what I'm saying? You can just suck my dick. I'm gonna keep tracing, nigga. You ain't gonna do shit to me, little nigga. I'll slap the shit out you. I know your ass was struggling during the push-up test in PE. I know your ass was fighting demons during the pacer test. Your ass got 13 on the pacer test talking about doing something to me. Put your ass on a GoFundMe. I'ma keep tracing. You ain't gonna do shit to me, bruh. Slap the dingleberries out your ass. Trace it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna trace again later in this episode. You think I care? You at a low vibration, bro. You can't do nothing to me. I am immortal! And Dende is like, whoa, Vegeta, Krillin has gotten so much stronger. It's like he's a different man. He really put Mr. Popo on a t-shirt. I never liked that nigga anyways. But Vegeta, with a nervous look on his face, is like, no, Krillin has lost this battle. And Dende is like, what? What are you talking about? And Vegeta is like, take a closer look, Dende. You can still sense Mr. Popo's power level, can't you? It hasn't vanished. In fact, it's gotten even stronger. And Dende is just sitting there in shock because he knows what Vegeta just said is true. And Vegeta is like, back then, when I blocked Mr. Popo's punch, he severely damaged my hand. It's been over a year, and I still have the scar. And Dende's like, what's your point, bro? And Vegeta is like, my point is that Mr. Popo is thousands, no, probably millions of times stronger than he lets on. Krillin is Vegeta's sentence gets cut off as a big hole blasts through his guts. both Dende and Krillin are like, Vegeta! And Mr. Popo is like, those were some very nice moves, Krillin. As the dust clears. But you're not the only one who spent time in the hyperbolic time chamber. Last time on DH Animations. Krillin came out the hyperbolic time chamber with Vegeta, and then Krillin went on the front lines going toe-to-toe with Mr. Popo. Only for Mr. Popo to transform and catch Vegeta off guard with an energy beam, nearly killing him. Now it's up to Krillin to face Mr. Popo and get revenge on him for sleeping with Android 18. But is Krillin strong enough? Find out today on DH Animations.
Fork on it. Let it breathe. I'm not no rapper, young thugger, be chasing cheese. I want the English. 800 calories in my life.
Before we start this video, I'm gonna need y'all to smack that like button, bruh. Let's get this joint to 350 likes. And watch the video all the way to the end, because that helps with, it helps with YouTube's algorithm. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Vegeta's body is slumped on the ground from Mr. Popo's beam, and Vegeta's like, I knew that nigga was built different. He said nigga! Yeah, Piccolo, like, I know, like, he's not black, and that offends you. Like, I know you're, like, the black Dragon Ball Z character, but, like, we gotta get this What If episode rolling. Nigga! Alright, he's not Piccolo. Black. Alright, calm down, bro. Alright. Alright, bro, Piccolo. Damn. And Dende and Krillin are like, Vegeta! And then that's when Mr. Popo was like, do you know some of the benefits of living on Kami's lookout? For one, you get to use the hyperbolic time chamber as long as you want, he says as he punches Krillin in the face. I'd say in the past 3 months, I've been in the hyperbolic time chamber about 24 times. Do you know how many years that is? Come on, Krillin. You're a big boy. I know you could do the math. He kicks Krillin in his mouth, having Krillin laid out on the floor. And then Mr. Popo was like, you niggas can't fool me, by the way. I know you're only trying to distract me so Dende could heal Vegeta. But as Dende has just realized, his healing won't work on Vegeta's wound. And Krillin's like, you black bitch! Just what are you? And Mr. Popo was like, well, I guess before I send you to the next world, I can tell you my backstory. It all started 200,000 years ago. God created a man and a woman. Their names were Adam and Eve. As you may know, there was a tree, and the tree had delicious fruit on it. But God forbid Adam and Eve from eating the fruit. He said, don't touch that fruit. You know what I'm saying? Because if you touch that fruit, I'm going to find out, and it's going to be a problem. But one day, God was chilling in his room playing PlayStation. And that bitch Eve was approached by a snake on the ground. The snake was like, don't listen to that nigga God. He don't know what he talking about. And Eve was like, I don't know. God specifically said not to eat the fruit. But the snake was like, you know, like a little chicken nugget. Like, you take a little chicken nugget bite out of the fruit. A little fruit ain't never hurt nobody. Like, a little bit. Go ahead and take a bite out the fruit. So that bitch Eve took a bite out of the fruit. And she shared it with Adam's dumbass too. God found out and he was angry. So he evicted them niggas out of his apartment. They lost the ability to be in God's presence. Years later, Adam and Eve had given birth to 2 twins, Cain and Abel. Abel, he was a real nigga, you know what I'm saying? He could bench 475 pounds for reps. But Cain was a little bitch. He was a hating ass nigga. He was jealous because God liked Abel more. But Cain became so jealous that the hatred in his heart consumed his body, and he killed his brother Abel. And God just sat there and watched that shit, bro. Like, it's like when you playing rank 2v2 in Brawlhalla and your teammate is just standing there while you get your ass beat. Like, what was you doing, bro? Like, God, why didn't you help Abel? You supposed to be God. Instead, he replaced Abel with a third son named Seth. But what they didn't know is while Abel was on the brink of death, he was approached by the same snake that approached his mother, Eve. The snake was like, "I can revive you in exchange for your soul." So that's exactly what Abel did. But what he didn't realize is that when he exchanged his soul to the snake, his skin turned black. He gained a bunch of weight and his lips got big as shit. Abel just accidentally became the first ever black man, aka a demon. Abel eventually returned home to Adam and Eve, his parents, but they told his black ass to go away. They didn't believe it was him. They thought he was a monster. Abel asked the snake to change him back to his normal self, but the snake said no. So now, Adam not only wants revenge on the snake, but he wants revenge on God. He donned the new name, Mr. Popo, and his goal is to get revenge. Alright, nigga, I didn't ask for your whole life story, bruh. All I said was, what are you? Fuck. Yeah, for real, Mr. Popo. Like, all you had to say was that you're a demon. You didn't have to say all that extra shit. Yeah, Vegeta has a point, bro. Like, you didn't have to say all that shit.
Yeah, for real,
God.
bro. Shut the fuck up. For real.
Well, since you niggas want to cut me off so bad, allow me to scare you once more. Even if the three of you manage to defeat me, I have 3 children living on an island on this planet, and each one of them is even stronger than me. Right now, they're busy with some animal tournament or something like that. They said something about a grizzly bear fighting a gorilla or something like that, but if they find out that their dad is dead, they'll be sure to raise hell. Oh, and one last thing, Krillin. The baby mama is none other than Android 18. What? So she was pregnant? I thought that bitch was just getting fat. Foolish, Krillin. Androids can't get fat. Well, no, that's not exactly true. There was Android 19. We don't talk about Android 19. But now, it's time to finish this. Say goodbye, Krillin, says Mr. Popo as he charges towards Krillin to land the final blow. It seems that the gorilla has pulled up to Kami's lookout, and he's ready to fight Mr. Popo. But why? Find out next time on DH Animations. The final showdown begins. Mr. Popo versus the gorilla. Last time on DH Animations. Mr. Popo transformed into his ultimate buff form, and he started beating the goofy out of Krillin, bruh. Like, he was so much more powerful than Krillin that he started telling his backstory while he was beating his ass, bruh. And you know what I'm saying? It turns out that Mr. Popo is actually the son of Adam and Eve, and he was killed by his jealous brother. And then he was turned into a demon by the devil. But I'm not sure what that got to do with my boy Krillin, though. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know what I'm saying? Or like why Mr. Popo smashed Android 18. I don't even know why he trying to start stuff with Krillin. You know what I'm saying? But then that's when the gorilla came out the cut and saved Krillin from Mr. Popo. But is the gorilla strong enough to defeat Mr. Popo? Find out today on DH Animations.
Like a fork on it. Let it breathe. I'm not no rap, but young thugger, be tasting cheese. I want the English. 800 calories a mile.
Look, I don't know who you are or why you came here, but you seem hostile. So if you want to see me with the hands, it's whatever, bruh. But before we start, I want to ask you, how much can you bench press? I can max 550. How about you? Oh, me? I could bench 550 too. But I could do it for reps. Hey, whose gorilla is that? How did he get up here, bruh? Who is that? It's all according to plan. Plan? And then they's like, yeah. Earlier when you were getting your ass beat, Mr. Popo said something about his kids hosting some animal tournament. And I specifically remember him saying something about a gorilla fighting a grizzly bear. So I knew exactly what he was talking about. Don't forget, bruh, I'm Earth's guardian, which is basically God. So I see all this shit. And Krillin's like, so what are you saying? And Dende's like, I'm saying that I just snitched on Mr. Popo. Mr. Popo swings on the gorilla, but the gorilla weaves it and then punches Mr. Popo in the jaw. Then follows up with a clean kick right to the liver, and then one big punch to the face, causing Mr. Popo to drop on the ground like a sack of potatoes. Then the gorilla's like, unless you want me to stomp your ass out, you better get up and continue this fight. So Mr. Popo gets up, wiping the blood off his mouth, and then he's like, alright, you got hands, I'll give you that. But don't think you've won this fight. The gorilla swings on Mr. Popo again, but Mr. Popo ducks it and tackles the gorilla. And then he starts grabbing and shit, bruh. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Popo low-key don't got hands like that, so he started grabbing like and shit, trying to overpower the gorilla. But then the gorilla bites Mr. Popo on his arm, causing him to let go. And then he punches that nigga clean in his face, sending him flying across Kami's lookout. Then the gorilla picks up some debris and rocks off the ground from when Krillin destroyed part of the lookout with his final flash, and he starts throwing the rocks at Mr. Popo, as Mr. Popo's body's still flying back. Then Mr. Popo barely dodges the rocks. One of them even like scrapes like a piece of his skin off like a little bit, like it barely grazes him. And Mr. Popo's like, if I was directly hit by even one of those rocks, it would have been really bad news. Just who are you exactly? And the gorilla's like, I'm the repercussions of you fucking that bald nigga's wife and giving birth to those kids who started that animal tournament. But you can call me Harambe. And Dende and Krillin are like, whoa, like, yo, this nigga raw, bruh. And Krillin, he's like, this gorilla, he can do it. And Dende's like, yeah, I told you. And Vegeta's like barely conscious, and he's like, who is this nigga? Is he a Saiyan? And Dende's like, nah, bruh, he is not no Saiyan. Don't try to slide your race in there, bruh. You saw how Vegeta just tried to slide his, bruh. The gorilla isn't a Saiyan, bro. Don't try to slide yourself in there,
all right.
Sit this one out.
All right,
you got fucked up.
All right.
And then Dende's like, allow me to tell you the gorilla's backstory. Like he's snorting and shit. In DH Animation's What If a Gorilla Fought a Grizzly Bear Part 1, there was a group of people who were actually Mr. Popo's kids. And these kids would go around kidnapping animals, and then they would take them to an island and make the animals fight to death in an animal tournament, and then they would live stream it and get ad revenue. One of the matches was a grizzly bear and a gorilla, and the gorilla put up a good fight against the grizzly bear, but in the end he still lost and he still died. You know what I'm saying? And then the gorilla showed up in What If Goku Fought Granola Part 2 to 4, and we found out that the gorilla actually fought demons in hell like Bin Laden and Hitler, and he became so powerful that he escaped hell and went to train with King Kai. Then he arrived on Earth and beat up Goku and Giorno at the same time, and DH Animations himself had to intervene and seal the gorilla inside the sun. Then in What If a Grizzly Bear Fought a Gorilla Part 2, the gorilla escaped from the sun and traveled back to Earth to rematch the grizzly bear in the animal tournament. And this time, he actually defeated the grizzly bear, and then he took a nap on the island, declaring that when he wakes up, he'll put a stop to the animal tournament. But while he was asleep, Dende woke the gorilla up telepathically and snitched on Mr. Popo to the gorilla. Because if Mr. Popo never slept with Android 18 and got her pregnant, she wouldn't have given birth to those demon children, and they wouldn't have kidnapped the animals, and that wouldn't have indirectly caused the gorilla's death. So that's why the gorilla is here to fight Mr. Popo. Who wrote this? The gorilla and Mr. Popo are fighting more and more, and the gorilla's still doing his thing to Mr. Popo, but now he's like slowly starting to slow down. You know what I'm saying? His movements are starting to get sluggish and shit. He even used Kaioken, but he's still like slowing down. You know what I'm saying? And then the gorilla throws like a sloppy ass punch at Mr. Popo, and Mr. Popo easily dodges it, and he's like, is that all? As he punches the gorilla square in his jaw, knocking that nigga off the lookout, sending him flying down the Earth's surface. And then Mr. Popo's like, you had me in the first half, but I guess your stamina ain't all that. Alright. I know y'all are tired of these interruptions, but do y'all remember in part 2 of this series, when I asked y'all if you pooped on a bench press at a public gym, would you clean it up or would you just run out the gym like nothing happened? And I said I wouldn't clean up the poop. I'd just run out the gym, right? You know what I'm saying? Well, I did some thinking. I talked to some friends. And I changed my mind, bro. I was wrong. If I pooped on that bench press, I'll just clean that shit up. And I'll do it in front of everybody, bro. I don't care if niggas got their cell phones out and they recording. I don't care if niggas laughing either. Because at the end of the day, that's my dookie on the bench press. So I need to clean it up. And then I'll come back to the gym the next day like nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep working out. I doo-dooed on the bench press. Now what? Now what? You know what I'm saying? But back to the story. And Krillin's like, what the fuck? I thought the gorilla was winning. And Dende's like, it's as I feared. And Krillin's like, what? And Dende's like, you remember when Goku came back to life for a day and he used Super Saiyan 3, burning out all of his time? Well, it must be the same for the gorilla. He's not supposed to be alive. From fighting the grizzly bear twice, to fighting Goku and Giorno, to fighting Mr. Popo, this shit has really drained him. If this keeps up, the gorilla will cease to exist entirely. But then, who's gonna defeat
You. Look at you. You're pathetic.
You got your woman taken away, and you're not even gonna do nothing about it? Every time confrontation comes your way, you fold. No wonder you got your bitch taken. You're a loser. You're a disgrace. That's when Krillin gets up and flies to where the gorilla fell down to. And then Krillin's like, hey gorilla, it seems that we both have a bone to pick with Mr. Popo. He indirectly caused your death, and he fucked my wife. So how about we work together? And the gorilla's like, why should I work with you? I don't even know you. And then Krillin's like, because if you don't, then you'll never be able to get your revenge. Because honestly, Mr. Popo just folded your ass. And the gorilla's like, what can you do to possibly help me? And Krillin's like, we're gonna do something Vegeta showed me how to do in the hyperbolic time chamber. And then it cuts back to Mr. Popo, and Mr. Popo's like, y'all seen what I was about to do to that nigga Krillin, though? Before that gorilla showed up, I was about to fold that nigga on God.
Is that a fact? I'm neither Krillin or the gorilla. I am the one who will destroy you. Now tell me, who exactly were you about to fold?
Last time on DH Animations. The gorilla and Mr. Popo fought each other, and the gorilla was beating up Mr. Popo at first, but then Mr. Popo actually reverse 3-stocked the gorilla because the gorilla's body is extremely fatigued from escaping hell. Like the gorilla low-key not supposed to be alive, bruh, but he just built different. And it seemed like it was all over, but then Krillin and the gorilla actually managed to fuse together, creating Krillin, the ultimate warrior. But is Krillin strong enough? Find out today on DH and alright, obviously Krillin is strong enough, bruh. Like, bruh, the gorilla was folding Mr. Popo in the previous episode. That obviously a fusion is gonna beat up Mr. Popo, bruh. Obviously he's gonna get put on a milk carton. Who the fuck be writing these scripts?
Fork on it. Let it breathe. I'm not no rapper, young thugger, be chasing cheese. I want the English. 800 calories of Mali.
So you guys fused. So what? Is that supposed to scare me? Don't think that little chicken nugget power boost is enough to over... That's for causing the animal tournament. Popo tries to grab Krillin, but Krillin just blows Popo's arm right up off the shoulder. Then punches Popo in the mouth, knocking some of his teeth out, and then dropping him on the ground. And that's for smashing Krillin's wife. Damn! God damn! Did you see what Krillin did to him? Damn. Did you see what he did to that nigga? Yo, Krillin is built different, bruh. Yeah, facts, guys. Everybody talking at the same time, so sometimes I be digging in my butt and sucking the poop off my fingers. Nigga, what? Yeah, Piccolo, wait, what the fuck did you just say? I say, yeah, Gorilla is strong. Now hold up, bro. First of all, it's Krillin. Second of all, that's not what you said, bro. Yeah, Piccolo, don't try to lie now, bro. We heard what you said. We heard
Hey,
what
hold
you
up.
said.
Nah, hey, Piccolo, are you even supposed to be in this series, bruh? What are you doing, bro? You're not supposed to be in this shit.
No. Hold on. I made a cameo in part 4 of this series. What are you talking about, bruh?
Yeah, a cameo. Nobody said for you to try to sneak yourself in like a main character, bro. You better get the fuck out of here.
All
Get
right,
out.
bro. All right.
Get out the episode,
All right,
bro.
bro. My bad.
Before I step in. Mr. Popo is bleeding out on the ground while Krillin stands over his body.
Before I lay your ass out for good, you got any last words?
Yeah. Pre-workout. Mr. Popo pulls out pre-workout and eats all the powder, bruh. No water, no nothing, bruh. He just eats the pre-workout powder. And if y'all know what pre-workout does to you, then you'll know that Mr. Popo is about to start tweaking. Mr. Popo gets swole as shit, and his power level rises up extremely high, surrounding him in a red aura, cause he had like the strawberry flavored pre-workout. Mr. Popo's arm stops bleeding, and his teeth actually grow back. No, yo, how the fuck did Mr. Popo grow his teeth back, bruh? He need to show Tundra how to do that, bruh. If y'all read Scarf Man, then y'all know what Tundra's mouth looked like, bruh. Mr. Popo need to show Tundra how to do that shit. On some real shit, bruh. Look at Tundra's mouth, bruh. Mr. Popo need to show Tundra how. Mr. Popo charges at Krillin and punches him in the nose, catching Krillin off guard. Then he grabs Krillin's tail and slams him into the ground over and over, only to throw him away, sending his body hurling through the air. Mr. Popo clenches his fist, charging a red, electric energy beam in his hand, as he mutters the words, "Renegade Crusher!" Mr. Popo launches the blast towards Krillin, and Vegeta and Dende are like, "Everybody get down!" Boom! Kami's lookout was completely destroyed, bruh, catching Vegeta and Dende in the explosion. Or so we thought. Krillin floats down with a force field in front of Vegeta and Dende, and they all land on the ground at Earth's surface. And Mr. Popo's like, "I put everything I had into that blast. How? How did you survive that explosion?"
Oh, you should know by now. DH has said this phrase over 1,000,000 times now. I'm just built different.
And Mr. Popo's mad as fuck, bro. Like, bro, I would be mad too, bro. That was like his best attack.
But before I send you to Davy Jones' locker, I want to ask you something. Why exactly did you sleep with Krillin's wife? Don't play dumb now. It definitely wasn't an ordinary late-night booty call. There was animosity behind that dick appointment.
And then Mr. Popo's like, "Huh? We've been fighting for this long, and you still haven't figured it out yet? You still haven't figured it out? Use your head, Krillin. There was 2 brothers named Cain and Abel. Cain was jealous of his brother Abel because God liked Abel more. So Cain killed Abel to spite God. Haven't you ever wondered how crazy it is that a human like Krillin can keep up with demons, aliens, and even gods? Put the pieces together. You, or to be more specific, Krillin, is the reincarnation of the man who killed me. He's the reincarnation of my brother, Cain." Yes, he's distracted. That's when Mr. Popo somehow teleports Android 18 right next to him. And Mr. Popo is like, "Take one step closer and I'll peel this bitch's wig cap back. I'll send this bitch to God." And for y'all who don't know what wig cap mean, I'm gonna just put the definition of the screen. He's basically threatening to kill Android 18. And Android 18, she's all like, "Krillin, please don't fight him. I'm sorry for cheating on you, but we can start over. Just don't try and fight Mr. Popo. Stay still." And Krillin just stands there. And Dende's like, "Krillin, you're not gonna do anything?" And Mr. Popo's like, "Huh, I knew you were a simp. That year in the hyperbolic time chamber didn't do much for your mind." How did you know it was a hologram?
I didn't.
Krillin's punch mixed with the fact that Mr. Popo OD'd on pre-workout caused his body to blow up, ending Mr. Popo for good. Some time goes by and we see that Vegeta's wound from Mr. Popo is actually healed up because the gorilla gave Vegeta some weed. So you know what I'm saying? Vegeta's just chilling in the corner. He got the munchies, you know what I'm saying? So he eating and stuff. And we see Dende, the gorilla, and Krillin chilling at Bulma's lookout. And we see Android 18 come out the cut. And she tries to apologize to Krillin for all the pain that she caused them. She's like, Krillin, I'm so sorry. Mr. Popo's meat was just slanging. And you know, as a woman, I have needs, so you know...
Shut that noise up. You know, 18, you really did do me dirty. Not only did you cheat on me, but you got pregnant with his kids. And you know, with my current power level, I could easily fuck you up. I could put you on a t-shirt right now. Because I've been training.
I know that's right.
Yeah. But I'm not going to do that. Because if I've learned anything in this past year, it's that if you're going to embark on the path of revenge, you'd better dig 2 graves. I mean, just look at Mr. Popo. He wanted revenge on me for something I ain't even do. I may be the reincarnation of Cain, but I ain't Cain. I'm Krillin. And now Popo's dead. Again. So basically what I'm saying, 18, is I forgive you. Not because I like you, not because I'm a simp. I forgive you for myself. Here's this month's child support. Tell Mirren I said hey. And Android 18 just starts crying and she flies away. It seems that my boy Krillin has finally become a man. And the gorilla is like, so Krillin, speaking of Mr. Popo's kids, that animal tournament is still going on at this very moment. Lots of innocent animals are dying. And Krillin's like, so what are you saying? And the gorilla's like, I'm saying, since I helped you fight Mr. Popo, you gotta help me fight them. And Krillin's like, yeah, I'm in. But if they're anything like Mr. Popo, then we're gonna need a team.
Yeah. We'll need people who will avenge those fallen animals. All the innocent animals that died.
What we need are Avengers.
And that concludes this series. And I know we didn't really get to see what Krillin was fully capable of, or like the full backstory of Mr. Popo, but that's because we're going to see that in another series. And if you've been paying attention to my videos, then you already know what's about to happen, bruh. But yeah, if y'all enjoyed this series, you know what I'm saying, and if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment Hova, so I know you a real one, you know what I'm saying? Hova. Hova. Also, don't forget to turn on upload notifications so you don't miss the next vid when it drops. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.